equals 1 point. If you want to play along with us, you can pick who you think will be the winner for a chance to win some bonus bets. Check out the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app for more details. Last week, Joe went 2-1. His only loss was the total in Chargers-Texans. I went 1-2. My win was the Eagles covering. So, Joe, are you ready to get into our picks for this week?
I am. Little side bet for this week alone. Loser treats the winner to lunch and golf at their private golf club.
Nice. What club are you a member of?
I'm not, so we'll just go to yours, win or lose.
Okay. Well, those are some odds I'm not interested in. Okay, Joe, you're up first. What's your first pick this week?
Baltimore over Buffalo. The key here for the Ravens, find your way to 21 points. Why? Because if you score 21 against the Bills, that's a problem. Since 2022, Buffalo is 4-22. 4-22 against the spread when allowing 21 or more points. We saw the recipe last week for what Baltimore plans on doing this postseason. Run early, run often. Josh Allen's going to be great. I don't think he has enough around him here. I like the Ravens to win and cover.
Well, and for that same reason, which is the run early and run often, I'm taking my first pick as the under in this game. 51.5, you talked about it earlier today. This is a game where both teams want to take the air out of the ball, take the air out of the stadium. Tackling that man is not going to be a lot of fun when it is -3, which is what the feels like is going to be. I've got the under at 51.5. What is your second play of the week?
I think the first half under, there's another good bet as well if you want to pile on top, 25.5. Philadelphia to handle their business against the Rams. Hate the spot for the Rams this week. Short week off the Monday night game. Essentially, it's back-to-back road games because that was at a neutral site. Across the country, outdoors against this Philadelphia defense. The Philly offense, yes, there are some concerns, but Matthew Stafford looked fantastic last week against Minnesota in that blitz-heavy attack from Brian Flores. Eagles don't blitz, 5th fewest blitz rate, and Matthew Stafford becomes average in terms of quarterback rating when he's facing a team that can get after him without the blitz. Philly covers.
So my second pick is actually contrary to something you said earlier in the show. I'm going to take the over on Commanders-Lions, and I know it's a very big number, 55.5. It's the biggest of the playoffs, but I'm just trying to apply a little logic. The quarterbacks are unstoppable. The offenses are unstoppable. The defenses don't stop anybody, and the game will be played, the one game that's going to be played in pristine conditions in the Dome in Detroit. I could see the Lions scoring 35 points in this game. If Jaden Daniels shows up big against a defense that has struggled all year, I like the over for that total. Finally, your third play.
I have the under there, and that's one of those bets where you can see it playing out like you said, and you go, yeah, I should have seen that one.
That's what I'm rooting for.
Yeah. Last one, under Houston and Kansas City. How much can we trust Houston's offense in this matchup? You're down Tank Dell, you got problems on the offensive line, and now Joe Mixon is banged up. This is a team that since Tank Dell went down with injury in Kansas City, 3 games are averaging 13 offensive points per game. Now it's the crowd noise at Arrowhead. It's a rested Chiefs defense. However, Houston's defense, that front four can generate pressure against the bad Kansas City offensive line. Secondary can cover. They can limit, not stop, but limit what Kansas City wants to do. We're going under.
And that's why I'm taking the Texans with the points here. And I understand the injury to Joe Mixon gave me a great deal of pause, but 8.5 points, I'll give you a number. The Chiefs this year, when favored by 6 or more, are 0-7 against the spread. They never blow anybody out. So I think they find a way to win because that's what they always do, but they just never cover. So here are the picks again, Greeny versus Joe this week. We can put them up for you. Here are the 3 different picks that we each have this week. Joe has, as you see there, he's got the Ravens, he's got the Eagles, he's got the under in Kansas City. I've got the under in the total in Baltimore. I've got the over in Detroit, and I have the Texans plus the 8.5.
Private golf experience at Club Greenberg on the line. Let's go.
Okay. I'm going to have that one whether I win or lose. Now, let's move on. Let's get to Buffalo and Baltimore. Because, look, this is, at the end of the day, this is the game that everyone has been hoping we would get all year long. They're going to finish 1-2 in the MVP and all the rest of that. RC, I thought you put it really well. What is at stake for these guys?
I mean, this is, like I said earlier, it's a career-defining game to set up a legacy-defining game. Both of these men live in the shadow of Patrick Mahomes. No matter what they've accomplished this year, no matter how we face Patrick Mahomes out of the MVP conversation, which is rightfully done, It's about how do we win this game against who this year has become our nemesis, has become our biggest rival, and then get to play Patrick Mahomes. And it has to do more with more than just these two young men, but you know it just like I do, Greeny. Whoever loses this game will come in on Monday morning, and it'll be a referendum on their entire career based on the fact that they did not make it to the AFC Championship and beat the other one. And so I think it's extremely important for them to both be focused. I'll say this, and I need to be quick, I know. Josh Allen has less to prove than Lamar Jackson does. We've seen Josh Allen be his best self in the playoffs. We have not seen Lamar Jackson do that. I believe that's why the rhetoric around the two players is different. We need to see Lamar Jackson on full display, win or lose in this game, or all of that will be on his shoulders.
I actually see that different, and you mentioned it earlier, Greeny, the X factor could be Derrick Henry. We could have Lamar Jackson play B and Derrick Henry take this team to the championship game. And Ravens' offense is different than it's been in the past.
But ultimately, the wins or losses goes on the quarterback's record, not the running back.
But what he's saying is that the Ravens might win if Lamar Jackson doesn't play his best game. The Bills have no chance if Allen does.
But it gives Lamar Jackson the opportunity to prove himself the following week. Right? And that's the narrative, right? He hasn't played well in the big games. He talked about how anxious he gets. And I think it is more important for Lamar Jackson. He promised the Ravens something, but also because he's a two-time defending MVP, and Josh Allen hasn't gotten that award.
If either one of them's thinking about next week, they're screwed. Like absolutely, right? Like they're locked in. I was talking to one of Josh Allen's teammates yesterday, and he said, right before we went out on the field against Denver, I looked in his eyes. He said he's always loaded for bear, but this time he looked like he had already killed the first bear and knew the second bear was coming and was gathering sticks to get ready. He said he was looking through people. That Josh Allen, both these guys, Lamar Jackson's been a different guy this year, but being around the Bills the last couple of weeks, there's something about them. There's something about their confidence. There's something about the chip on their shoulder. They're annoyed that it looks like Lamar's going to take the MVP, which they wanted to go to Josh Allen. They're at home.
Look, if Lamar Jackson wins the MVP and wins a Super Bowl,
oh my God,
he would be a three-time MVP with a ring. We will have to start talking about him in historical context.
That's why it's important. And I think, and I love what he's talking about, the way they've approached this season. Josh Allen has had this joy about him, right? He seemed like he's just loved getting on the field. And Lamar Jackson has had this very Kobe-esque sort of feeling where he's always talking about, no, this one was good. I want to get the next one because I know the next one gets me closer to the big one. And I want to see those two personalities, but those two players be at their best this weekend.
All right, they will be going head-to-head, although they won't be on the field at the same time. And we're looking forward to it, obviously.
Xin chào tất cả các bạn đã quay trở lại với kênh YouTube của mình. Video ngày hôm nay của mình sẽ là video gì đây? Nhiều quá, không biết làm video gì. Đây, rất nhiều những sản phẩm mình đã chuẩn bị để tô màu để gửi tặng đến tất cả các bạn đây. Đấy, những sản phẩm chắc các bạn rất chi là quen thuộc. Những đồ dùng, con vật đây. Và đồ dùng đi theo mình là hộp xăm màu. Hộp xăm màu của mình đây. Đây là những cây màu đầy màu sắc này. Rất chi là tuyệt vời nha. Các bạn, nếu các bạn thấy hay, hãy cho mình like và đăng ký kênh nha.
Video sẽ tiếp tục đúng không?